The Preacher of the True Faith by Ginzberg. When Abraham attained the age of 20 years, his father Terah fell ill. He spoke as follows to his sons Haran and Abraham: I adjure you by your lives, my sons, sell these two idols for me, for I have not enough money to meet our expenses. Haran executed the wish of his father, but if anyone accosted Abraham to buy an idol from him and asked him the price, he would answer, 3 manes, and then question in turn, How old art thou? 30 years. The reply would be, Thou art 30 years of age, and yet thou wouldst worship this idol which I made but today. The man would depart and go his way, and another would approach Abraham and ask, How much is this idol? And 5 manes would be the reply, and again Abraham would put the question, How old art thou? 50 years. And dost thou who art 50 years of age bow down before this idol which was made but today? Thereupon the man would depart and go his way. Abraham then took 2 idols, put a rope about their necks, and with their faces turned downward, he dragged them along the ground, crying aloud all the time, Who will buy an idol wherein there is no profit, either unto itself or unto him that buys it in order to worship it? It has a mouth, but it speaketh not, eyes, but it seeth not, feet, but it walketh not, ears, but it heareth not. The people who heard Abraham were amazed exceedingly at his words. As he went through the streets, he met an old woman who approached him with the purpose of buying an idol, good and big, to be worshipped and loved. Old woman, said Abraham, I know no profit therein, either in the big ones or in the little ones, either unto themselves or unto others. And, he continued to speak to her, What has become of the big image thou didst buy from my brother Haran to worship it? Thieves, she replied, came in the night and stole it while I was still at the bath. If it be thus, Abraham went on questioning her, how canst thou pay homage to an idol that cannot save itself from thieves, let alone save others like thyself, thou silly old woman out of misfortune? How is it possible for thee to say that the image thou worshippest is a god? If it be a god, why did it not save itself out of the hands of those thieves? Nay, in the idol there is no profit, either unto itself or unto him that adores it. 26. The old woman rejoined, If what thou sayest be true, whom shall I serve? Serve the God of all gods, returned Abraham, the Lord of lords who hath created heaven and earth, the sea and all therein, the God of Nimrod and the God of Terah, the God of the east, the west, the south, and the north. Who is Nimrod, the dog, who calleth himself a god, that worship be offered unto him? Abraham succeeded in opening the eyes of the old woman, and she became a zealous missionary for the true God. When she discovered the thieves who had carried off her idol and they restored it to her, she broke it in pieces with a stone, and as she wended her way through the streets, she cried aloud, Who would save his soul from destruction, and be prosperous in all his doings? Let him serve the God of Abraham. Thus she converted many men and women to the true belief. Rumors of the words and deeds of the old woman reached the king, and he sent for her. When she appeared before him, he rebuked her harshly, asking her how she dared serve any god but himself. The old woman replied, Thou art a liar, thou deniest the essence of faith, the one only God, beside whom there is no other God. Thou livest upon his bounty, but thou payest worship to another, and thou dost repudiate him, and his teachings, and Abraham his servant. The old woman had to pay for her zeal for the faith with her life. Nevertheless, great fear and terror took possession of Nimrod, because the people became more and more attached to the teachings of Abraham, and he knew not how to deal with the man who was undermining the old faith. At the advice of his princes, he arranged a 7 days festival, at which all the people were bidden to appear in their robes of state, their gold and silver apparel. By such display of wealth and power, he expected to intimidate Abraham and bring him back to the faith of the king. Through his father Terah, Nimrod invited Abraham to come before him, that he might have the opportunity of seeing his greatness and wealth, and the glory of his dominion, and the multitude of his princes and attendants. But Abraham refused to appear before the king. On the other hand, he granted his father's request that in his absence he sit by his idols and the kings, and take care of them. Alone with the idols, and while he repeated the words, The eternal He is God, the eternal He is God, he struck the king's idols from their thrones and began to belabor them with an axe. With the biggest he started, and with the smallest he ended. He hacked off the feet of one, and the other he beheaded. This one had his eyes struck out, the other had his hands crushed. 27 After all were mutilated, he went away, having first put the axe into the hand of the largest idol. The feast ended, the king returned, and when he saw all his idols shivered in pieces, he inquired who had perpetrated the mischief. Abraham was named as the one who had been guilty of the outrage, and the king summoned him and questioned him as to his motive for the deed. Abraham replied, I did not do it, it was the largest of the idols who shattered all the rest. Seest thou not that he still has the axe in his hand? And if thou wilt not believe my words, ask him and he will tell thee.